Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Deskside Chats podcast presented by the City of Northport. My name is Madison Hyde, and I'm the Deputy Communications Manager for the city. Everyone has a story, right? In this podcast, I'll be learning the stories of our employees right here in the City of Northport. Join me as I chat with folks from all walks of life across departments and divisions. We're building a community of unity. Get to know the staff working for you every day. Now let's lean in and chat Deskside. Hey everyone, we're back. After a bit of a hiatus, we're back to our regularly scheduled programming. This week on the show, we're chatting with Grants Coordinator Mike Davey. Mike is a fan of the band Cream, 19th century literature, and mint Oreo shakes. In his past lives, he was a tenured English professor and middle school principal. He's great to talk with, and I hope you all enjoyed as much as I did. Let's dive in. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Madison.
How you doing?
Good. You pronounce your last name Hyde like a real German, or Heed like an anglicized German?
Hyde.
Hyde. Very good.
Yes.
Sehr gut.
Oh my God.
Ja, ich spreche Deutsch.
Muy bien. I don't. I took German
Estoy aprendiendo
for 1
español.
year.
Sí. Por 3
Yeah.
años. Yeah. And are you from Wisconsin?
I am.
This is what's going to happen is I'm going to interview you.
Yeah, what the heck? This has started off with like me being the guest on here. Yes, I'm from Wisconsin. Can you tell in here? For this
Cheese curds?
For this audio medium, for those who would like to know, there's cheese curds.
head.
There's a cheese head in here. There's Packers football ticket, whatever you call it. Yeah.
Because I still think of Tampa as a expansion team. That's how I roll.
An expansion team.
Because I remember they beat. I was a Vikings fan, and they beat the Vikings back. You know, I was a kid or whatever, and I was like, "Who are these Tampa Bay Buccaneers?"
Right.
So ever since then, forget it. So then you start talking about Jacksonville. No.
Yeah. Right.
Dolphins, yes. Packers,
okay.
yes.
Dolphins,
Bears,
yes. That's good
yes.
because that's the city manager's team is the Dolphins.
Oh, there you go. That's
so.
good.
Good move. All right, so that was a good start. Thanks for interviewing me right up top. All right, so let's first start. So you are in the Grants division.
Correct.
And what is your title?
My title is Grants Coordinator, otherwise known as the Grants Czar, sometimes Grand Poobah, but mostly just Mike. That's what I go by.
Okay, so which one is on your business card? Is it Grand
Grants
Poobah?
Coordinator. Yeah. Grand Poobah would be good.
I love it. And how long have you been here?
I was thinking about that. I think since August. I think I started either very end of July, very beginning of August.
Okay.
And then Ian, of course, erased my memory, kind of like
right.
It's
a hard reset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think so. Almost 6 months.
Okay, awesome. Well, we're glad you're here. Yeah. I love it. Perfect. And we'll get into that a little bit more, but we're going to now rewind to the very beginning, the beginning.
Okay.
Genesis style.
Like the Big Bang?
Yes, like the Big Bang.
Okay.
Where are you from? Where were you born? Are you from Florida?
No, I'm not from Florida. No one's from Florida.
True.
That's actually not true. I was born in Nebraska, and I lived there until I was 15. And then in 9th grade, we moved to Columbus, Ohio, and I was there through high school. And then I went to undergraduate in upstate New York, and then I went back to Ohio State. Well, back to Columbus, and I went to Ohio State for graduate school. And I was there until about 1998.
Okay, Ohio State. I know that's a...
And if some of you are listening to this and you graduated high school in 1998... just keep that to yourself. I don't need to know that.
Oh, then I won't even tell you when I graduated high school,
okay.
if that makes you sad.
Okay. All right.
We'll leave that.
All right.
Okay, so what was it like growing up in Nebraska? Was there a lot of corn, a lot of things to do?
Well, I was in Omaha, which is like, they'll call it Kansas City Light or something, but people object to that. No, it was great. You know, it was just it's a Midwestern city. Nebraska football is big. I grew up playing soccer. It's very similar to like Minneapolis, St. Louis, Kansas City, those areas. In fact, my fiance is from Buffalo, New York, and I was in upstate New York for a long time. But so it's very Midwestern, just kind of a suburban upbringing.
Yeah,
really good public schools, so that was really nice.
That is nice.
And the 70s were a simpler, more innocent time. There were other. I'm not nostalgic at all, but I mean, it was very nice growing up there.
Yeah, that's
we
great.
had winter, which was fun, and then it went away, and so you had 4 seasons. That was good.
Yeah, I missed the 4 seasons, but not the negative 30.
Seasons.
I don't miss the deep winter, but I miss the fall.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
The deep winter. I like the snow and cold through Christmas, and then once you hit January, it's like you can go. Yeah, but then it usually stays till May or whatever where I'm from. Because I remember we were talking yesterday, and you said something about snow in July or something crazy.
Yes, I experienced snow flurries in Rochester, New York on the 4th of July.
That is so rude. Yes. That is not right.
No, it was
because ours would go through. I mean, for sure, St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah,
ours would either be 80 on St. Patrick's Day or -10 with snow.
Where in Wisconsin?
Appleton.
I've been there.
You have?
I've driven through it.
Yeah.
Is it on the way to Minneapolis? Isn't it up there in the western part?
It's about it. Do you know where Green Bay is?
Yeah.
It's about a half hour south of that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I have a really good friend from, where is he from? He's right outside Green Bay. He's hardcore.
He's hardcore.
Well, Packers, and he's like one of those kids who rode the Packers on his bike from.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. They still do that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was fun living that close to it. The away teams would stay in Appleton, weirdly, for football. They'd stay in downtown Appleton. I'm sure there's hotels in Green Bay. I'm not sure of the decision-making on that, but
interesting.
It was cool, yeah. So I know you probably mentioned it when you were listening it before, and I'm sorry, but so how did you end up in Florida?
How do I end up in Florida?
Yeah.
Let's see. After the Korean War, I
was in my head what was the timing of this?
How did I end up in Florida?
Yeah.
Well, I was a associate professor of American literature at Valdosta State University for 13 years. I was tenured there, and I became a father relatively late in life, the first time, and so I had all of a sudden I had a baby daughter, and I wanted to. I was thinking about what I wanted to do for the next 20 years. Do I want to stay in South Georgia, raise her there, the in-laws were all, my mother and stepfather were all in Fort Myers, so I decided to transition out of higher education and move into secondary ed in an administrative capacity and kind of get closer to family and that sort of thing. And so that's what we did. And so now, so then I was in Jacksonville for 2 years, and then I came down, and I've been in Charlotte County for the last 6 or 7 years. And
okay.
Adelise, who is my daughter, is now about to turn 10. So.
All right. Very cool. All right. So I wanted to know how you got here, but then I totally skipped over the cool part of you being a tenured professor, which was silly of me. No. So what was I know you said, was it lit is that what you taught?
Yeah, my doctorate's in 19th century American lit. So if you think of things like the Scarlet Letter, Moby Dick, I wrote on and taught Hawthorne and James Fenimore Cooper, Last Mohicans, Moby Dick, Melville, Poe.
Okay.
There's a Netflix movie right now called The Pale Blue Eye or something, and it's about one of the characters is Edgar Allan Poe while he's at West Point. It's like a mystery.
Oh
thing.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
It's based on a novel. It's like a literary thriller, and I'm not recommending the movie, but whatever. When you say 19th century American, people are like, "What the heck's that?"
Yeah,
but they all know who Poe is from The Raven and things.
True.
Like that.
Yes.
So I did that, and I was at John Carroll University in Cleveland for 4 years. It's a Jesuit college. I taught there, and then I got the tenure track in Valdosta, which is in higher ed they call them regional. Peer and aspirational institutions. So it's like USF, FGCU. In fact, when I was at Valdosta, when I got there, FGCU didn't exist.
Oh, okay.
My mother, incidentally, got hired she did her doctorate at Ohio State as well, and she got hired and was one of the first faculty at FGCU. So she ended up in Fort Myers as the dean of instructional technology there, and eventually was the GM of WGCU. So that's her career and life was down in Fort Myers starting in about 1994. So by then, actually, if I think back, so if I was at VSU about 2002, so I think by then maybe FGCU had buildings and had admitted students. So
sure. Yeah. So it sounds like education kind of runs in the family, huh? At least with you and your mom.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So
cool.
Yeah, she got her doctorate was in educational leadership, and at that point in the early 90s. I was at Ohio State, and we were starting to use, computer technology to teach. Mm-hmm. Anyone who's listening to this who's, gone through university, since '98 or whatever, all the things that you're used to. I was being trained as a graduate student to teach composition, writing, freshman writing using technology in a computer lab. That was all new.
Right.
Back in the '80s when I was an undergrad, I remember my housemates, we had one computer in the house and one car, and we rode the bus everywhere.
Right. Times have changed, huh?
Yeah. So I lived through that transition, and I was professionally involved in the transition to online courses, hybrid courses, and that sort of thing. So I have a background in that as well.
Yeah, right. Oh my God. I just, full disclosure, glanced down, thought it wasn't recording and had a full body panic, but it is. It's recording.
Okay, perfect.
But anyway, back to, you're right. Times have changed for sure. Sorry, right at the end of what you were talking, I was like, oh my God.
Start all over.
Practice has been a practice session.
Yeah.
So do you have a favorite in 19th century lit? Do you have a thing that stands out, or do you just love all of it?
My orientation is more towards ideas. Originally I was a philosophy undergrad, and I originally went to graduate school in philosophy and Western philosophy and analytical tradition and philosophy of mind, and those are the things that I was really into. And then, just for a variety of reasons, decided I was going to pursue literature. And so, really, what I was interested in is, seeing, literary texts as kind of cultural artifacts. I hope that doesn't sound pretentious, but they're products of their times, and then so they engage with their own readers and with us and as contemporary readers in various ways. And so what I was interested in is sort of getting at whatever those things were pointing to. So Poe, you get taught Poe. For example, Once Upon a Midnight Dreary, While I Pondered, Weak and Weary, that famous poem.
Yeah.
You get taught at middle school, and everyone just associates him in the United States really with Halloween, and there's there's a hilarious Simpsons parody of The Raven where Homer is the narrator and Bart is the Raven, and he's tormenting Homer, and it's really well done.
That's fun.
But outside the States, Poe is not seen as kind of a comical, tragic, drunken figure.
Sure,
he's really
right.
seen as this kind of early version of what we would probably call existentialism now, but what some people call dark romanticism and that sort of thing. So he's after the human psyche, and he was really cutting edge in terms of how he was representing human consciousness and things like that. So those are the things that drew me to that period. So there people like Melville and Poe and Whitman would be my favorites, but my own, I have other literary heroes that really speak to me that I didn't really study, but I was able to teach. Nabokov, for example, who people know mostly for Lolita. That would be an example of the 20th century. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh my God. See, I wish I could be well, this is my 19th century literature favorite one, but I am unversed. That is not a word, but you know what I mean. Not well versed in the literature. I'm more of the creative music side of things and writing, but not as much reading.
And so 19th century romantic composers like Beethoven and stuff like that. Is that what you're talking about?
Oh no. Oh. I just I went to school for music, music performance for a little bit, clarinet and saxophone, and then I switched midway through to journalism, but I got a music minor. So I grew up around music.
Podcasting, because you're very good at this. It's just you seem to have a media background.
I do.
Yes.
Well, I was print journalism before I came here, so I was never like this. Face for radio, but I was kidding. But yeah, my parents. My grandpa started a music business up north. It's still going now. It's 75 years now it's been running. Now my cousin owns it. My dad owned it. So it skipped my parents' generation. They were the sporty ones, and then it came back to my brother and I.
Cool.
So that's where my creativity lies, and yours lies in literature and writing. You do that as well, or not?
Guitar.
Okay, I play guitar.
That's honestly I dabble in poetry and things like that, but the creative side for me, it was more analytical. I had no writing short stories and that sort of thing. It's just not what I was interested in. And
got it.
There's actually, if you are ever if someone ever finds themselves in a graduate department in English, they'll discover there's a split between the MFAs and the doctoral students, and the MFAs think they're the next Faulkner, and the doctoral students think no, you're not. We study you, and that's not what's going on. And I don't want to reinforce all that, but
Yeah.
So, no, the creative side for me comes out. I play guitar in a garage band, and that's for me.
That was that's highlighted on my list here.
Oh, nice.
Guitarist in garage band that actually plays in an actual garage.
And I'm the youngest person in the band.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh, that's part of my. Okay, we're gonna go to that. That's on my list. Okay.
Right.
Don't let me forget to ask about that. But I want to talk about now. What was it like transitioning from college to like high school teaching? That's got to be a shock, right?
It was a shock. I mean, it was nothing like what I experienced when I was in high school. Education had changed. I had to adapt to that. I had everything, teaching English, like it's all in my head. What do you want to know? Like I can talk about it. And not only because I had done it for 25 years and I'd been trained. It wasn't special. It was just, I'd been doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But dealing with the behaviors and, college is self-selecting. There's reasons. Since World War II, only a third of the country ends up with a 4-year degree. And there's people that go to college.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not for everyone. And obviously you don't have to go to college to be successful or anything like that. But,
right.
I was teaching regular English 4, and those students were, for the most part, were not college bound. And even the brightest ones, I would be like, you need to be thinking about college. You need to be, and they were like, that's not for me. So, it's a whole. You have to sort of rethink what is it that you're trying to do.
Yeah, what's their
goal?
motivation?
Correct.
Yeah.
And I had seniors, and their motivation was just to graduate.
Get the heck out of there, right?
Yeah. So, and it was eye opening. And then I was a school administrator for 3 years, the middle school level, and that was interesting experience as well. So it was challenging personally and professionally. And then personally, I found myself trying to teach myself all the things I'd been teaching. Because when I taught, like, say, Poe or Hamlet or whatever, at the college level, I wasn't necessarily, when I taught Shakespeare, I wasn't teaching iambic pentameter. I mean, I was teaching Hamlet to non-English majors. So you're trying to teach them about, show how the things that, say, the play, let's say, is exploring are things that are still relevant. So, like with Ophelia, she basically is, I don't know if this is, she's slut-shamed, basically, in the play, and she ends up killing herself. And there's actually evidence that she was pregnant when and that her and Hamlet, it's only one line, but if anyone watches the Kenneth Branagh version of Hamlet, he really develops that and basically makes it clear that they were in love, they had a relationship, they had relations, she was pregnant, and then her father and brother are shaming her and basically saying he's never going to marry you, don't give up your virtue for him. Right. He's just going to take advantage of you. And then that to be or not to be speech, he loses it because he realizes she's spying on him, and he then shames her, and she's devastated. And then her father ends up murdered by her ex-boyfriend, and she's carrying her ex-boyfriend's child. So when you look at that all makes sense. So if you're teaching Hamlet to a 17-year-old or an 18-year-old in the public schools down here, that's something that the students can relate to.
100%.
They can understand that.
Right.
So that is your goal, is to explore that.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, the problems with the language, they can't understand it. The text I used had the Elizabethan on one side and the vernacular English on the other, so they could follow it, and that was fine. I don't see value. I'll just say this: I don't see the value of teaching someone who isn't necessarily college bound, who isn't going to be an English major. I don't see the value in teaching them iambic pentameter.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
Yes.
Why don't you teach them what I just described?
Yeah.
And jealousy, and relate it to Simba and Scar, and all of a sudden the play opens up for them, and it's relevant. And they're still going to resist it, and some of them are still going to tune out and that sort of thing. But that's okay, because you've changed your goal as a teacher, and that's the kind of thing that I was trying to do the whole time I taught.
That is so good. I want to rewind and have you be my teacher. I don't think you were probably teaching at the same time that I would have been in high school. I don't know the answer to that.
I started teaching in 1992.
When did you start teaching high school?
Oh, God. That was 6 years ago.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, we're good. But still, I would love to shift the history, because that outlook is so great, because I felt like that. I mean, I enjoyed English because that was more of a, kind of, or literature, more creative side, but, like math and science, I'm just there struggling through chemistry. I'm like, when will I know I'm going to school for music. Math is kind of involved in music, but not
Right.
really chemistry.
Yeah, but when you play music, like mathematically, yes, like you're thinking about
It's like the theory and all that stuff.
yeah, the half steps and all that sort of stuff. But really, you're just it is mathematical. And maybe your mind's processing, but really, you're playing the notes. And then and if you're soloing, you're trying to express yourself emotionally.
Improvisation. Yeah. I was never fully very good at that. I just loved being in the band atmosphere.
Yeah.
That was fun for me, but I was never great at improvising. I would stick to that, to like the blues scale. I'd just stay on the blues scale the whole time. It was awful. I was more of like playing the classical clarinet stuff. But all right, so now I know we're kind of bouncing around, but now music topic. We're getting to the garage band now.
Okay. We don't have to.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yes, we do. So first, are you willing to share what the name of the band is?
No.
Okay. That's okay.
It's not my band. It's like I'm the hired gun. Like I play with them. I played with them for 2 years in the garage. We worked on it. All they do is record. There's an album.
Got it. Okay. So you're not out there doing gigs or anything?
I'm not embarrassed by it or whatever, but it's hard garage rock.
Sure.
And it's all originals and stuff.
Yeah.
And fine. It's called The Fundamentals. You can find it on Spotify.
To be clear, everyone, I did not shame him into saying that. He just talked himself into it.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Well, yeah.
And it's very fun. But like I said, like I'm the youngest person in the band. They've been doing it for a long time.
Okay. So. Okay.
And
what type of music?
I would call it's like late '60s garage rock with some pop, kind of heavy garage rock.
Okay.
I don't know if there's bands like MC5, Cream from the late '60s psychedelia.
I know Cream. I've not heard of MC5.
Marshall Stacks.
Okay.
Loud guitars. Don, who's I call him the Bob Dylan of garage rock, because like we'll come in and it's like he's got another song. It's just like okay.
Bob Dylan in terms of songwriting,
yeah,
not in terms of his voice.
He's he sounds like Lemmy from Motorhead.
That's better. I was
kids
concerned.
Out there are going to have to go Google
I was
these
concerned
names.
About Bob Dylan's voice.
Motorhead. He sounds like Lemmy from Motorhead, but he writes these. He has really good lyrics and melodies and stuff, and he does all the production. So sometimes you go in there and you play, and then you'll hear the recording, and you're like, where am I? And it's because he's just using bits and pieces.
Right.
And I play all the leads and, come up with the guitar parts and that sort of thing.
Awesome.
But I don't
That's
write
fun.
songs. My songs are terrible.
So you do write them? You just
I have.
You don't share them with.
Well, I'll give him stuff, but there's also jokes like about guitar players, like they don't write songs; they just write guitar parts or whatever. And even the Eagles, I was reading something recently where these guys were like, I think Hotel California, which is that famous song.
Yep.
It was like one of the few songs in that band that one of the guitar players came up with, because I saw his interview with like either Glenn Fry or the drummer, I can't think of his name, but he was saying like he would send me recordings. I was going, these aren't songs. Like you have to have beginnings and middles and ends and bridges, and melodies and things like that. And that's so no. So I've given up that.
Got it.
But I also like the bass player for the Grateful Dead, Phil Lesh. I read an interview with him, and they said, "You didn't write any songs after like the 1974." And he goes, "Yeah, because they weren't very good. And I just was going to focus on playing bass." And I was like, "Okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to focus on guitar. I don't have time for this other stuff."
Yeah, which is also important. Other people can do that stuff.
Yeah.
All right, now here's the problem. Now is I don't know if this is going to have to be like a Mike part 2.
Oh my gosh.
But
I don't think people can take that.
But
it's too much.
No, it's not. It's great. I'm not kidding. We might do that. But now I'm going to have to start to... Okay. I have to ask you my 3 wrap-up questions.
Okay, let's do it.
I didn't tell you these ahead of time, but they're not scary. Favorite movie?
Favorite movie?
If you have one.
That's hard. I would say it's a combination of The Third Man by Orson Welles, which is really classic noir. And then there was a movie called My Life as a Dog that I really loved.
Oh.
But I haven't seen it in a long time, so I'm not sure. But like in my 20s, like that was my favorite movie. But then I got into film noir and noir fiction and things like that, and I saw The Third Man, and it was mind-blowing. It's really good. I highly recommend it.
All right, well, I have no idea
what
what
any of that
The production
values are like. It's from 48 or something, so it's black and white, but it's Orson Welles. Can't beat it.
Interesting. All right. I've heard of Orson Welles, but I've not heard of The Third Man. But Okay. Noted. I'll add it to my list.
The Third Man's famous because it has one of the greatest quote-unquote reveals in film history.
Oh.
Yes.
That's fun. Well, don't tell anybody.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we'll leave that for when they go check it out.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's usually the next one that I ask is usually like favorite TV show, but I think I'm going to change it up.
Okay.
For this situation. I know that you love music. I know it's probably hard to pick like a favorite band or artist, but is there one that just sticks out to you? I'm sure there's many of favorite, but
I mean, like, so there's things that are really influential.
Right.
So, like, one of my favorite pieces of music ever is the Moonlight Sonata, which is this, I think, the second movement.
Yeah.
In Beethoven's piano. I think it's perfect. You know, you listen to it, it's like every note is there. Sometimes you listen to a piece and it's like there's sections, like bars, where it's just like they're just trying to get to the next thing.
Right.
But this thing is just, I think it's
perfect.
Chet Baker is this jazz singer, West Coast style jazz. He was really influential on me. Like, he's like the opposite of Whitney Houston, who's bombastic. Like, I think Whitney Houston, you know, she's amazingly talented, has this beautiful voice, wonderful voice, but she's very histrionic in how she sings. And there's no subtlety. And Chet Baker is all about subtlety, so that's really influential on me. And then rock and roll, like, it's all, like, I like late 60s, you know, The Dead, Almonds, I already said Cream, that kind of stuff, psychedelia. I'm not a Gen Xer. I'm really a baby boomer. I'm just a really young baby boomer, basically, is what I've discovered in my life.
Right. And I can actually relate to that, but on a level of, I'm a millennial, but I feel like I'm more of a Gen Xer.
There you go.
So.
Just labels.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But I don't consider myself a classic millennial.
I mean, my brother's only 2 years younger than me, but he's totally a Gen Xer. Like, he absolutely fits all those things. I don't fit any of those.
Yeah, right.
Those, whatever, characteristics.
Yeah, labels, right.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, now last one. Very, very hard-hitting. Favorite ice cream flavor if you like ice cream?
Oh, it'd be Mint Oreo.
Mint Oreo?
Mint Oreo shake, yeah.
Oh, is that like from a specific place? That's a specific answer.
There used to be a place in Columbus, Ohio, called G.D. Ritzy's, I think, and it was like
a fun name.
It was like it's kind of like Steak and Shake, but it was like a 50s diner motif.
Okay,
and they had ice cream, and you could get a Mint Oreo shake, and that was my favorite.
I was going to say it, yeah.
You might still be able to get them at Steak and Shake. I don't know, but I don't eat a lot of sweets, so I haven't had one in a long time.
Okay, that's because I was like, if you're going to answer that specifically, there's got to be a specific place it came from. So that's what I thought. But there's been a lot of mint chocolate chip answers, but not a mint Oreo. So you might be the first for that one.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's out of like 10.
No.
You get a handshake, a high five.
Okay.
It's a big deal around here. So, well, thank you for coming on here, Mike. It was really fun.
Thank you for having me. I hope it was people still talk to me after they listen to it.
I think more people will talk to you. It was great. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much.
And thank you.
I really do. I want to say, like, I've had a wonderful experience here coming to the city of Northport. Everyone's been very gracious and welcoming, and it's really nice to be here, and I enjoy coming to work. So
we're very very glad to have you here.
A lot of places can't say that.
Yeah.
So I do want to put that on the record.
It's true. Well, thank you for adding that in. I should have done that, but thank you. We're very glad to have you here. So thank you very much, and thanks everybody for listening. And we'll be back again next week for the next Deskside Chat. Maybe Mike Part 2. Who knows? But that'll be coming sometime in the future. Yeah. Have a great day, everybody.